All right, let's move on to the big story of the day. As we've got this Michigan game, Michigan Seton Hall game, kind of
What a
wrapping up
game.
here at the
Seton
end.
Hall looks like the Seton Hall is going to win it. I tell you
Seton
what,
Hall up one.
yeah, team that hung in there. And this will be one of the best road victories of the non-conference season here if they
I mean,
if they hold
Kevin
on.
Willard, give this guy credit. I mean,
Yeah.
5 years into his tenure at Seton Hall, how about this, guys? There was like a come to Jesus moment with him and the AD, and I believe his agent, and it was like close. Do we go in a different direction? And he and his then AD were super close. And they talked about it and they decided, you know what, we're going to stick with him. We trust in him. And ever since then, I mean, they've been unbelievable. He has completely, and you guys know how hard a job that Seton Hall job is. That is not an easy job by any means. I mean, recruiting to Newark, New Jersey, not the easiest thing to do. And he's done it. And you're right. I mean, you get this win. It's probably as good a win because, again, I put so much more value into these road wins than I do the neutral sites. The neutral site wins, they're good, but they aren't even close. I just went to UCLA and Gonzaga, guys. Like, it is off. I mean, you know, and it's been 2 years since we've seen it, right? So to have the crowds back and have people in Ann Arbor for this game against Seton Hall and those fans, this win is like, it's huge for Seton Hall, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah. Hey, if Jesus was invited to that meeting, he gave some great advice to the Seton Hall athletic director, Jeff.
No question.
And what's happening and what will continue to happen. Kevin Willard is doing as good of a job running his program and coaching his team as any coach in the country. Tonight's win wasn't just a great road victory for Seton Hall. It's a great road victory for the Big East Conference. And again, you know, as we look in November and December, the days of cheering against teams or programs in your conference are over. Seton Hall wants every Big East team to win. Every Big East team should have been cheering like crazy tonight for Seton Hall to beat Michigan. Huge victory for Seton Hall. When I watched the game tonight and Michigan was winning for most of the game, you just had a sense, though, that Seton Hall is good. They have a lot of pieces. They have a toughness about them, kind of like Houston. They have the ability to defend. They have the ability to score. They have confidence at both ends. And when you look at Seton Hall tonight, tonight was a great victory for their program.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Rhoden is kind of that guy. I mean, Seton Hall's had, it feels like a guy over the last few years, right? They had certainly Miles Powell, then Sandro. Now I think Jared Rhoden's going to be that guy. And Kevin Willard's done a great job recruiting because I don't think any of them were huge, big-time recruits. And he kind of finds these guys and develops them. And Rhoden was hurt to start the year, but, you know, this was a heck of a win against, you know, a Michigan team that we still have to remember, guys. This Michigan team, yes, they do have Hunter Dickinson. They do have Eli Brooks. But the rest of these pieces, for the most part, Brandon Johns too, but the rest of these pieces are new. You know, they've got a new point guard who came from Coastal Carolina. You know that, Archie. They've got freshmen that, frankly, were ranked high, but we don't know how good they are. Like the rankings to me this year, other than the Chets, the Palos, the Amani Bateses, some of these other guys, I think you could throw them out the window for the most part because nobody saw these kids consistently. You know, it's a bunch of guys ranking them that, frankly, normally they rank them calling the coaches and finding out who's really good. And that's how they come up with the rankings. Well, this time, none of you guys saw any of these kids play in person because you couldn't get out. So, Arch, do we put a lot of stock into this? Because Michigan, as much as we said Virginia's going to get better, I think Michigan's got a long way to go.
Michigan's going to get a lot better. They play really hard. That was a 50-50 game. They didn't shoot the ball well tonight from three. And I think, you know, the difference in Michigan's team right now as they sort of take shape compared to what they were a year ago. You take Isaiah Livers, an NBA player, and in my opinion, if he doesn't get hurt at the end of the year last year, Michigan can win the national championship and should or at least been favored to get to the Final Four. They almost did it without him. You have a lottery pick in Franz Wagner. And both of those two guys at 6'7", 6'9", shooting the ball and their skill level around Dickinson, it's much different than their current team that's on the floor right now. Brandon Johns, the young freshman big who's out there with him, those guys aren't prolific perimeter players. So they're actually playing a more unconventional or traditional big lineup, which is a little unique. And then Sean D. Brown and Mike Smith, both of those two guys, old, strong, great role guys around those guys last year that fit in perfect. And I think their team is going to develop. They're playing freshmen. They're going to have to find a way to shoot the ball from the three a little bit better than they did tonight. I think they may have been about 3 for 14 or 15. They're going to need a couple guys to emerge like Terrence Williams or whatnot, but they're not the same team that they were a year ago. And I don't think anybody should be looking at Michigan saying what they are right now is what they should be projected to do at the end of the season. It was a much different team a year ago that took the floor, a lot of firepower. And, to me, they're going to get better. They're going to get older. But tonight, Seton Hall makes 9 threes to Michigan's 3. That's a big difference in the game. And like Sean said, Seton Hall, they are just a tough bunch of guys. Kevin has a niche in recruiting. Guys have an edge. They're old school Big East guys, and they play that way, and they went and got a good win tonight. Michigan, at the end of the day, is going to have a great season, but they're not the team they were a year ago as they start the season.